And bam. Woo. That's only 30 seconds. Wait a minute. Is that 30 seconds? Listen, when you quarantine with this much ice cream today like this, you can't move like you did back in the day.
When I tried to tell y'all, hold on, let me get this. Okay, hold on.
Adjust you can. Good evening, everybody. Good evening and welcome. It's the Friday night edition of Diversity
and Equity
and Education.
What's wrong?
Because your camera is like, you are like, I got half a nose right here. I'm Diva D from Cardell Divas.
April from April's Beauty Bar, and we have
a special guest. I'm going to introduce myself.
Go ahead.
I am their special guest, Demetra Edwards, the Village of Excellence.
And we are being hosted by the beautiful, the wonderful, the fantabulous, gather the receipts teacher for the culture, none other than Bianca Gooseby.
Yay!
Spear fingers.
You better say that. So good evening, ladies. How has your week? I've lost count right now of our coronavirus thing inside the house. How's it been for you? Oh, how's it been?
Well, my Monday live sums it up for the whole week for me. I think the people did call and check in on me after they saw that live and asked, were you okay? And the answer was hell no. To the no. Hell to the no. I was not okay. I was not okay. And I'm not going to act like I was okay because I was not okay. I don't know why this phone keep going in and out.
No,
but yeah. So Monday, I didn't know what to expect, but what I received was definitely not what I expected. So yeah, we did expect, some delays with being able to log in, some delays with, the students getting accustomed to it all week, even though our success planning week was last week. It just was much more than I could have ever imagined, knowing that I had to also be responsible for the two-pack and their academic advancement, during this pandemic learning. I'm not even calling it e-learning anymore. Dr. Edwards hit it right on the head when she said, this is not e-learning. This is not virtual learning. This is not extended learning platform. This is pandemic learning. So no, I wasn't okay all week. No.
Dr. Edwards, how was your week?
My week was pretty much the same as April's. It's just been very, very rough trying to connect in this new way, just trying to connect and build communication patterns and strategies that are going to carry us through possibly the end of the school year. Because right now, everyone's still trying to figure it out. I've said it before and I'll say it again. No one is the expert on this right now. No one has all of the answers right now. We are all trying to figure it out. And while we're trying to figure it out, I just pray that we give each other grace and operate in compassion.
Correct. And to add to that, I will say that my experience has been the same. It's frustrating because I want to be able to, I feel for myself personally, I didn't feel very successful in terms of reaching every single student on my roster. I got to 65 total on my, that's as opposed to the 100 plus on my roster. But when I look at it overall, I said, well, at least for the very first week, I could say, well, I did have some success because I did reach, more than half of the population. But at the same time, I felt the frustration of the parents, because the parents were like, look, I got 4 of these kids at home. I'm supposed to do this. This one telling me I can't figure this out. I got one in kindergarten, one in middle school, one in high school. And I totally, I could empathize truly, to sympathize truly with them, because I could understand truly how they're feeling. That look, is there something simpler? Like, people have asked me questions like, well, can I just get something simple? And so for me, my answer is, what I'm giving you, you got the whole week to do it. You're not going to get a packet from me today, one tomorrow, one the next day, one Thursday. It's not going to work like that. If they can complete this one assignment in these 5 days, that's good. That's good enough for me, because I know that at least you're trying, you know. So that's the experience I'm getting from my parents, and the experience from my students, who are also very anxious and are concerned about, you know, just how their grades are going to do during this time. April, what are you
Denise,
going to say?
I think part of the issue is the expectations. Like, we haven't slowed down enough to really think about what are realistic expectations. And I think as educators, our expectations are sometimes extremely unrealistic.
Yes.
We think for some reason that parents can do what we do, and they cannot, because they are not educators. If the kids could learn the exact same thing the way that we teach them at school, at home, then we aren't doing our jobs, because we're not extending their learning. So they
Right.
cannot do the same things at home that we do at school with them. It just does not work. They need us like that.
Right.
Hopefully the parents know and the kids know now they actually really need us, and they need us every day.
And I agree, because I had there's one parent who literally told me, "Can you do a session so that he could do a one-on-one?" Now, there were some tricky things behind it, because at our PLC, our faculty meeting this past week, they were telling us things like, you can't really have a Zoom one-on-one with a student, because it's technically like as if you're in a class by yourself with a student, versus, or you can have a breakout room. You know, so my whole thing is like this: I'm not even gonna use Zoom, because y'all ain't gonna catch me in no trap like that. So I rather just do how I've been doing, which is I do the PowerPoints, I do the individual lessons, I post stuff on there later on, but not to where somebody can break in, because the stories that I've heard this week have been quite interesting. April, what are you gonna say?
I just like the word Zoom. When I hear it now, it feels like the most excruciating. It's not a pain, but it's a feeling that like almost feel like it's electrocuting me, but not in a painful way through my body. I don't even like to hear the word Zoom. I don't like to think about the word Zoom. Like on the Tupac's page, as long as I don't see Zoom, I'm good. But when I see that damn word Zoom, that is it. I don't listen. Just delete it. Delete all of it. Delete the word Zoom from the vocabulary. Delete it.
What about all I want to do is zoom, and a boom, boom. You don't want that part? You don't want that?
Just shake your bump. I'll just take that. I don't want the Zoom part. I don't want to hear that. And now it seems like everyone wants to just damn Zoom. Right. What we zooming about? I have Zoomed at least 12 times in meetings this week.
Not me. And then stop being sneaky in your Zoom. Okay, if you're all gonna be on there, say something. Don't be sneaky and try to hide on the side. Let nobody see that.
Let's talk about that for a moment. What are you referencing? Let's be clear. You know, I like to be clear.
Let's be clear. If you're having a meeting, please make sure that everyone is able to see everyone in the meeting. We shouldn't be like, you know, all, you know, it's one thing, it's okay. It's one thing like this. If I block myself out, but I still see my name, that's different, as opposed to be completely like absent from the screen. So I mean, it's some tech that either maybe I'm faulty at, because I remember I'm not the best with technology, or it could be that some people are purposely saying, I want to be in the meeting, but I don't want to be seen. That's not cute. That's all I gotta say about that.
And let's go a step further. Administrators, leaders in the district.
You're already recording the meeting. What you want?
Please know, everyone is not comfortable with this process.
Sure not.
Some teachers are already intimidated by your presence during their evaluations.
Sure.
Because the relationships were never built with the educators on your staff.
Shonda.
So to enter a meeting and we don't know why you're there, you don't have a purpose for being there besides at that point speculating. If you're not bringing something to offer to the meeting, nah. We got too much on our plates already. Nah. L to the no.
Well,
that's
I
right.
will say this as an administrator.
Please help us.
Weaknesses you had in your organization, in your leadership style, in your communication and relationships prior to pandemic teaching starting, once we hit a pandemic, those issues become explosive. So if you did not have relationships with your team prior to the pandemic. Once we hit a pandemic,
she preaching now.
Now it's on front page now that you don't have a relationship. Now you can't show up and try to pretend to be somebody you've never been. So we as administrators have to take a look at our leadership styles and say, oh Lord, okay, what do I need to do now in this season? Because I clearly missed the boat August through March.
That was, hold on, let's legs. There you go. Come on. I need legs. Because then it's not genuine.
Right.
It doesn't feel authentic.
It feels forced.
Right.
Yeah. You feel, the teachers feel uneasy about what your true motive is. Are you here to get me, or are you here to help me? Are you here to identify all the things that you think I should be doing when I don't know what I should be doing, and neither do you, but you're gonna make it up as we go? Nah, we're not doing that. Nope. Nah, stop the mess. Leave the teachers alone until we figure this pandemic teaching the kids at the house, and these people said it's too much work. My elementary kids had more work than my middle schoolers. I was like, oh God.
Yeah. So,
and because they're learning ESB, when I tell you I seen all the standards, why do I need to know the standards? I seen the do now, the objective, the learning target. Please.
Nothing.
Parents are trying to survive. Cut the mess. We want to know where the lesson at, how to find it, and let's get going. I don't want to read all that stuff.
But not just that, too.
Stop with all the videos.
Right. You come back. Anyway, you're looking at the fact that she just ran out the video. That, it's multiple classes, especially for middle school, multiple classes. Just give them the stuff they need to do to get to reinforce standards that they know, or the standards that they having issues with. You can't really say you're going to teach a whole, the flexibility we have right now is much better, because I'm like, look, there's no way in the world we're going to finish a novel study if I can only get in touch with 65 kids now. Now I realize, realistically, the first week, this is how many kids I get in touch with. But you were going to say something earlier too. What were you saying, Dr. Edwards?
Well, no, I was just talking to April's point of the issue. Let's dig into the issue of elementary, because it appears that that's where the biggest frustrations are for parents in our district, in our schools. I run an elementary school. My elementary parents are freaking out with
just
our
dropping stuff.
I don't know if people just didn't know what the workload was in elementary normally, but we do have a heavy workload in elementary, and we can't just transfer all that over to the parents.
Right. And I don't think
I have a post going right now on my Facebook page, and I have parents and friends and educators writing in of how can we solve this problem, because elementary is overwhelming. And I have a friend, a high school friend, who is a software developer. That's her full-time job. And she is struggling with her elementary student. Her middle school student is doing fine. She has 3 kids. The elementary, the second grader, is the one who's struggling. You know why? For the same reason that my school is doing packets, because they log into Schoology. Then they got to go and click over here to what is it, vocabulary. Then they got to go click over here to another program. And she's like, I have to actually be paying attention, and I'm working from home. I have to be at work 8 to 9 hours a day. My husband's here, and he's working too. So we don't have time every 5 minutes to stop. Mom, can you show me how? Dad, can you help me? So it's not working when we download all these applications and say, hey, the kid has to be in 9 different applications throughout the day, and the parents trying to work full time. So in this pandemic, we have some people who are trying to work because they haven't been laid off. And then we have some people who've been laid off and they trying to eat and survive. That is the pandemic. So
that's it right there.
I'm trying to work so I don't get laid off, because I know everybody around me is getting laid off and the situation is tenuous. And if I'm not working, I'm trying to find work or figure out, how am I going to eat? Are we really going to pay rent? Are we not? We cannot forget that all of that is happening right now at the same time.
Correct.
We send home packets.
No, you need to widen them fingers. Because you know they thicker than that. There you go.
Bigger. There you go.
How that little boy be doing? Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
Stop
And
it.
it go and the part that you said about the ones that have lost their jobs, because I faced this yesterday and I was sharing with my friend girl, she's on here now. I was saying that, you know, there was parents that was saying that I was laid off when we also talked about that earlier. Will it should actually be the verbiage is different between laid off and furloughed and so on and so forth.
Yes.
And the people don't know the difference between the two because they're just taking what their former employees are telling, employer is telling them and just running with the information, you know, just seeking out a solution and help. So when I'm calling parents and, you know, I have relationships with them and they say things to me like, you know, Ms. Cobb, I don't know what I'm going to do. Listen, listen. Do you know how hard that is to hear that on the other end of the phone when I can't help them?
Right.
And then the response is, tell them to call the school. Well, I work in the school district and I know they have limited resources. And unless a magic wand was provided to all of the schools and the principals, I know they're going to be getting the same runaround that they possibly will have gotten while in school. So I'm just trying to figure out, do I hand off the baton, take their information, hand off the baton and say, call the school, or I will give the school the information and someone is going to help? No, I'm not doing that. No. Because I will not send false hope to these parents if it's something that I cannot personally help them with or direct them to a resource that I know can help them with. There's no need for any more false hope. They don't need no more of that.
Because as you
and
can
then
see
I'm
right
calling
now,
about some freaking classwork.
Right. Because you see right now, it's like things like false hope will be like those stimulus checks that's coming out that people are saying that, oh, I'm gonna get this money. Y'all might not see that money till August. I mean, forget June and July. You're looking at August. And remember what I said about that money. Don't sit there and hope for that money and think that it's gonna save your life. Please get a sip because I need to lubricate.
I need a slurp. Legs,
please, legs. Because I'm just saying, I love them. Love them. Because let's be real and practical about this little $1,200 check that you get. If you're getting that. And everybody all saying, oh, I'm so excited about these extra checks for these kids. Still, it's not going to help anything. Save every penny that you can, because we don't know how long this is going to last. And as you can see from the curves that are out there, it's going to be for a minute. This is not going to be over anytime soon. Now, but we have to stay positive too, because of the fact that, you know, there are people, things that they don't put out there in the news that often, is that people are being cured too. So yes, they have a lot of people that's getting sick, but there are people walking out that they're doing well. Like a lot of cases in the verse now, as a matter of fact,
thank you, Lord,
doing well. And that's the sunshine. As my parents say, there's sunshine out there, burning that right out there. Anyway, what kind of comments we got going on? Let's see.
Yeah, I was just
so there were several that I can't see, but Claire Farmer says, today I called a parent and she just got home from the hospital and we were talking about how, see, Claire, I can't, listen, I'm going to just be transparent. I have anxiety. I have really bad anxiety, but I know how to control it. I know how to monitor it. But this right here, who?
Exactly.
Who? It's been on 1,000 since we reached the pandemic. My uncle walked in the house and he came in to hand me something. So now I'm now creating pandemic environments for them. When anybody leaves the house, they got to come in the house. They got to spray their shoes. They got to immediately take off. It's like crazy. And he like, it's okay. Where did you go? Who did you see? Did you have on a mask? Did you? And it's like, he looking at me like, what is wrong with you? It's really taking its toll. So imagine trying to keep it together, and then also calling the households of individuals that you know without a doubt they are not prepared for this and don't know what to do. Could you imagine that? I just want everybody on the live just to take a moment and just strip every possible resource that could be available to you and your family. And we talk about the basic necessities, starting with food. Now the school lunch, I ain't gonna even touch that with a 10-foot pole. The snacks,
I gave them more snacks in my pad bags, and I was giving away during spring break.
Listen, Claire, I commend you. We can only do what's expected. And you know what we have to do? Teachers, educators, administrators, guidance counselors, all the way down to the custodians. We got to take care of self first, period.
Because we can't help anybody else. You can't
we
help
got to take care of self first.
Yeah.
Period. And if they want us to get in this line, if they want us to get in this unemployment line, send me on over there. Because I will not aggravate these parents any longer and create more harm than good. I will not do it. Once a parent says I don't have, I'm done. And the child is going to pass. Period.
Correct. Because what I was told this week was, you are telling me that, okay, listen, I was more concerned about the fact that, okay, they're not logging into my class and not doing the assignment. But after the 15,000 emails all week long, it whittled down to this one email. Look, if they have checked in on any device or any platform, give them credit. I was like, well, you know what? Guess what? That means everybody covered for me. Because every single child has logged into at least one of the programs that I had available to them. At least one. And so I'm just like, listen, I'm not stressing myself out. I'm not going to stress you out. You present. You here. So here's what Lisa Mitchell said. Thank you. All of these assignments are not going to get done. Okay. And she right. They're not going to get done.
No.
Who's that? Portia, hey, lady, zooming us to death. That's what Portia said. I'm doing no zooming. That's what Harriet said. And Ariel's on there. You got some legs. I said, we got legs. Put the legs on. Speak on it. Exactly.
Hold on. What about
put the legs up? Yes. Legs. All right.
April, I don't want to run over what you said, though, because I believe that we aren't doing a really good job right now of managing the mental health of our teachers.
Yes.
Our frontline people who are the ones making these phone calls, trying to be a voice of encouragement to the families and checking in with the children. We're the only ones really sometimes who are asking the children the real questions.
Yes.
Right? The parents are saying sometimes go in there and do your work. Because I'm trying to survive and I'm trying to work and I'm trying to so you just go do some work. So the parents may not be mentally and emotionally available for their kids. That's our job. But guess what? We're trying to be mentally and emotionally available for our children and our families. So like that when you get on an airplane, no matter where you go, they say put your own mask on first. Like that's what we have to do as educators. And we need our education administration to be cognizant of that we need masks first before we can start being a helper to other people. And we are being ignored in this process. So I just don't want to seem like we're running past the mental health of our staff, because we are in some situations not attending enough to their mental health, their emotional state of being in a pandemic. We're in a pandemic. I know we're talking about work, but we're in a pandemic. Let's never forget that.
Right. Because again, when the people that are call center reps, in most cases, when they hang up the phone, their work day is done, right? For the people that's doing telehealth, once they do their final notes for the day on that particular client's file, guess what? They're done.
They're done.
Majority of the jobs that's doing Zoom in, whatever you want to call it, video, whatever it is, face, whatever it is that they're doing. Once they end the call, they're done. Not teachers.
No.
Not teachers. It never stops. It never stops. Because even though I'm done for the day, my Remind app still pushing through. And if I see a message, I'm going to answer a parent.
Yep.
Or just
like Portia, are you able to come on with us? What you say, Dr. Evans? I'm sorry.
Store the other day, and one of my students was working in Publix, and just the look on his face, I couldn't help but hug him. And I was like, oh God, I hugged him. Okay, but I couldn't help but hug him. It's like, just even that mental struggle of trying to think, should I hug this kid or not? Of course I want to hug this kid, but I don't know where he's been. And then am I going to take this back to my elderly parents because I'm asymptomatic and I don't know? All of that. We're dealing with a pandemic and we cannot pretend that we are not.
Right.
So we have two people, guys, that we're going to invite on. That's going to be Portia and Sylvia. Portia is on the high school end of things. She also is one of our FSA experts when we do the FSA experience.
Yeah.
And we also have my goddaughter, Sylvia Stevens, and she have little ones that are in school, and she's currently been pandemically removed out of her work environment and placed at home. So all of this happened at one time, where her moving home to work and the little ones are in elementary school. So yeah, we would love for you all to join in, ladies. The link was provided. Join in. Hey, Portia.
Hey, Portia.
Hi.
Hi.
Excuse how I look. I'm tired, y'all.
Hey,
Girl,
we
you look
understand.
good. You look
Yeah, we
good.
in coronavirus land. We all right. Come on.
Ladies, y'all got different cups than I do. I'm gonna tell y'all that right now.
Hold on, Portia. Hold on. We need you to know that Dr. Edwards had her red solo. You got a red
She's
solo?
from Lucio.
Nope.
She's from Lucio.
It's no, we ain't the red solos, it's glass.
Put it in the air though. It's all right. Put it in the air.
Look.
Put it in the air. There you go. There you go. Put it in the air. Look, this is how we getting through. This is how we getting through. So tell us about your experience this week.
I mean, I'll speak on two different sides. As a parent of a fifth grader, to see my 11-year-old have more work than I provided my 10th graders was alarming. And while I understand their teachers are learning, I am having a hard time wrapping my head around why we're learning systems that have been around for like 10 years. I've been required to use EDSB since I taught at Adams Middle School. So, okay, here we are. We are learning EDSB now. And we have a million things posted. And had I not been familiar with EDSB, I would not know how to sift through all of that.
I need you to say that again. Say that again, because I said that to the two-pack teacher today. Say it again. Say it again. I need you to speak a little louder, because I'm deaf. Come on, say it again.
I don't got close.
Close.
I were not familiar with EDSB. I will not know how to navigate that program, what they wanted, where to submit, flip a graph or whatever that is, Zoom, all of that. If I was an essential worker and my 11-year-old was here by himself, nothing would get done and he'd be calling me all day. So it was a work in progress. I was trying not to flip out on a fellow teacher because I get it, they're learning. However, it's been around for 9 years. So that was a little hard and really just trying to get him acclimated to the way it worked. Now, as a teacher of seniors, and the seniors and my 10th graders are two different things. I am dealing with seniors that are fall in one or multiple different categories. A, they have picked up more hours at work, and they are helping to watch younger ones. B, they're seniors that came to school every day and do nothing at school, so they weren't going to do anything. And additionally, a lot of my seniors just got their SAT scores just to be told their scores are not going to matter. So dealing with the anxiety of seniors who are not sure what that means. They heard it on the news. They know they're getting an SAT score. Many of them got the score, but it doesn't really matter. All they're worried about right now is, am I going to graduate? Can I go to prom because I just bought a $600 dress? Am I going to go to grad bash? Am I going to have a graduation?
Jesus.
My friends. So to navigate that and then to be told, well, you need to give your seniors an assignment. My answer is no. I'm not giving them an assignment because they're done with my class.
Thank you.
They don't want anything to do with me. You know, now the other part is I miss my kids. I miss them. I personalize my teaching. So to ask to take my instruction that I alter class by class, kid by kid, to put it on an online platform is already difficult. with computer illiterate kids. I think what is very eye-opening is that our kids are not as computer literate. We are not ready for 21st century technology learning as we think.
But that's part. Look, and I want us to know we utilize that verbiage. We're setting up 21st century students.
21st century this, 21st century that. We famous for saying that.
But the digital divide says otherwise.
Yes, I'm literally asking kids, if I ask a kid to upload the Word document, just type their answer for the vocabulary and upload it, and I'm getting screenshots of the computer with their covers and their toes down there because they don't know how to upload. That is telling, and we're dealing with 16-year-olds.
And let me say this, Taylor, with that. 9-year-olds, if you're going to ask them to type an assignment to send back, that's going to take an hour because they use one finger.
They hack and peck.
They've never been taught how to use a keyboard.
I got
ASD space, ASD space, JK. They learn that.
They learn of that.
Additionally, they have not been told how to save a Word document to the computer, then upload. I lost my mind with my 11-year-old. I'm like, why you don't know this? But I remember I haven't taught them. Nobody taught them. And the assignment said to type it and upload it.
Say, hold on. I need to listen. Hold on, Taylor. Hold on. So you mean to tell me that your 11-year-old was expected to locate a Word document, respond to questions in that document, type it in order responding by typing, save it as a file on the computer, and upload it and submit?
That was the preferred method. In fairness to his teacher, they said he could write it and take a picture and upload it, which then means we need to get on a different device, like the cell phone, and log into Adsby. And
so the word
so it's platform heavy. It's all about the platforms then. It's not about the content anymore.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So the word of the day.
Okay, y'all. Hold on, Didi. Hold on. Let's go. Didi, read some of the questions, some of the stuff.
Okay, but I'm gonna give. Okay, let me read the word, and then I'm gonna give it to today's word. Because Portia, you gave us the word of the day, which is illiterate. Illiterate. That means some of us just don't know what we're doing.
Illiterate. Say it again.
Okay. The word again is what?
Illiterate.
That's what today's word is. And we can be illiterate in terms of technology. So let's go back to some of these questions on commentaries on here. What's this? Tamika. Hey, Tamika, you joined? Tamika Monroe. Let's see. After Claire's comment, she said, "I can't imagine how children can focus on assignments when mom is in the middle of it." You're right. Kathy says, "This is an attempt by the government to take the focus off the problems." Interesting. Here's another one that said, "What is Portia? This you right here. What did you say here? Some parents on kids who work are highly anxious. Parents are anxious too. Yeah. Okay. All day the families I talked to said they are scared. That's what Alicia says. Kathy Smith says only half of the students from each of my class are logging in. Yes, we can't get a lot of those middle schoolers to work while in school. How can we make them do it from home under these circumstances?" Kathy, I feel you all day long. I feel you, Kathy. Okay. Let me see. What about mental health? That is correct. I'm disillusioned. Correct. All right. What's this one say? "I feel so overwhelmed by all my son's work. He's in grade 2, and he has much more work than my middle school students."
Okay, hold on. Y'all know what I realized?
What's that?
Let me tell you what I realized after speaking to an elementary teacher. This is what I came to. This is my own personal opinion. I am entitled to that because everybody is entitled to volunteer me to do everything I've been doing. So listen, elementary just was introduced to this platform for the most part, the majority of them.
Right.
So then they have their administrators that's mandating that they go on and do just as if they were in the classroom. Yes. They list the standards, they list the objective, they list the do now, they list the learning target, and then way at the bottom is the assignment.
Yeah. Yes. You know what it reminds me of, Cobb? It reminds me of like their classrooms. Think about elementary school classrooms are very robust. Right. There's a lot of things going on, and they are being tasked to take that and put it on Adsby.
Well, it appears that administration at certain schools are making that mandatory, and I'm trying to figure out where did the contract change Because
Right.
even if
Exactly.
I
Right.
don't want to put that on the board, you better not ding me on it, because technically that means you are guiding my instruction and you're taking my power away from doing my own instructional design.
Right.
Please don't
And
do
you
that to me as
correct.
an educator. I went to school for something. My degree means something. My knowledge is entitled to be applied to what it is I went to school for. Don't do that to me. Don't devalue me as an
Correct.
educator. But again, they are being mandated to come and put all of this stuff in EDSB, because again, they don't know how to navigate it. So they're only going by the leadership, by what their leadership is telling them. I'm here to tell you,
And the
elementary
leadership
teachers,
has
I
no
love
idea.
y'all.
Do that.
Please
They don't have
stop.
any idea.
Because when it takes us 20 minutes to find the assignments and the 2-pack still hollering, well, what I do, I don't see nothing.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, well, hell, I don't either, because I got to
Right.
go through all of the dissertation.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And that's where that picture coming where your principals out there trying to evaluate you online. You can throw that up there right there. There you go.
Yeah.
What's it? When your principal shows you during quarantine.
Yes.
That's just how it is right there.
Yep.
That's it right.
Yes.
That's it right there. So you're gonna evaluate all what I'm trying to do. Really? How you do it? Let me take a sip.
And I do think there has been tremendous pressure on elementary teachers to do all of these things,
Correct.
to win the popularity contest, to win the kudos, to do all of this stuff. And in reality, what is happening, they are overwhelming parents. I know if I get one more remind message and one more SB message and one more thing while they're learning the
You forgot about the phone calls and the text messages and the email.
Right, and don't even get me started about the phone calls, because I'm already hot about the phone calls.
Right.
I'm
The parents they say I'm tired. I'm tired. Why you ain't got nobody else to call? Who else you gonna call?
What you want me
You
to
don't call me. You call me a million times.
What I want them not, I just think the pressure placed on them has been transferred to parents. And again, I am a teacher who is also a parent, who has worked in that same system, who teaches ELA. And when you tell me to then do these assignments, then go into Clever and then log into the science thing and then look at these 5 F assignments, then go into Pearson and then do this and then do the Common Lit quiz and then take a picture of it, of the 3, 2, 1 in the notes and upload. Why?
Do you hear that? Do you hear all of those things you just said? It's not about the content. It then becomes about the platforms. These children ain't only learning these damn platforms. That means the parents got to learn these platforms. And if I wasn't familiar, I would tell them to shut it all down and we're done. Give me a packet. Give me a packet.
Yeah. And then again, it boils down to the accountability for the teacher to prove that they're actually earning a paycheck. At the end of the day, it is to show that the teacher is actually making the kids do stuff. There is
but I'm not asking. Right. I'm not asking LeBron James. Well, I don't see him bouncing the basketball up and down the court. I need you to justify them $80 million you got right now.
Exactly.
I don't ask him those questions. Why are you asking me to justify what I'm doing?
Exactly.
Let me just stop.
That was you picking up your cup and sip. So let's read some more of the messages. It says, Ariel says, my baby has an understanding, a computer, a mom that understands online learning, but we cannot access ESB until later at night, leaving my baby to be a night school online student.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about that for a second. That's computer speed, because people want to ding me talking about my attendance should be in at a certain time. Well, how about you run some more 5G internet on my house, and I guarantee you I can turn that attendance in when you want to turn it. But unless you coming through over here where I stay at to run me some high speed internet, you got nothing to say about what time I turn it. Nothing.
Yep.
Oh, and may I add, I know several teachers that have at my site that have had to go and purchase additional bandwidth or speed or whatever it's called, and that's running them right at $100 a month. Do we want to talk about that?
Yep.
Well, I think while you said that magic word, attendance,
before we run around saying that things went well and we had an amazing first week, I posted an article on my page a few days ago from the LA Unified School District where they had 15,000 absences during their first week of
Yes.
and
One school had
I would
40,000
ask
absences.
our local news channels, news organizations, Marlene, if you all want to ask a question, that'd be a great question to ask, is what was the attendance for the first week of
Correct.
remote learning? I can tell you it's extremely low. It's
Yes.
going to be, averaging double or triple what it normally absentee rates were, because the reality is we have not found all of our children across the district. There are some kids who have not connected at all yet, and teachers have been calling. Normally, we start doing home visits. I don't know. We're in COVID-19. What do we do?
Right, we
Do
can't do
home
that.
visits? I'm looking for some answers and some solutions, because there are some families who we have not found yet. Most teachers are running maybe 60%, 70%. Now, I know some teachers who are at 100% connections with their families, so I'm not saying that that's all over the place, but there are definitely large gaps in certain communities where it is very difficult to even find and locate our families and have some type of engagement in a week.
Yeah.
And that's scary. And that's very scary because we know, the children, there are certain children that's probably on every teacher's roster that that there's something different going on. You know that child does not have the best home life. Right. And we're not saying the parents are bad. It's just that home life isn't good based upon the hand that the parent was dealt. And they got to learn how to maneuver through it and play those cards the way that they have been given. So that, but when they come to school, there is a point of release when they get off the bus that they're able to disconnect for what home life or even the community has to offer them, and it's not in their best interest. But again, we know every teacher have that. Maybe no more than some teachers have between 10 to 20 of kids like that. Some of us have one or two, and the point that I want to make is we have them.
Yeah.
And when we have those students, we're always worried about those students, no matter what. They may get on your nerves, they may act up, they may, whatever it may be, but you still have a heart and concern. Where are you? That's the question. Like, where are you?
Yeah.
Mom, where's the child?
Yeah. I mean, and the other thing, there is a very thin line, given all of those factors and those variables, and then you add on the pandemic. Sometimes in knowing those families, making a phone call or one more phone call home to talk about your little assignment may send a parent off the edge.
Yes.
So I mean, in some cases where, like in my case, I have kids that I know they haven't done my assignments, and it's been a struggle to get them to do assignments, and they show up to school. And that parent, and that kid, and that kid, and you can see in ad speed that that kid is not doing anything all day. That parent could potentially get 7 different phone calls and emails all day.
Yes.
You never know what is going on with that family. At least the schools do, but I know that parent is struggling. I know that parent got 3-4 kids, and now that parent just may have well been laid off. So I'm going to make one more phone call. You know what I'm saying? So who's helping teachers with that? What are the other people doing?
Wait, say that again. Hold on. What other people? We want specifics. What other people you talking about?
Oh, we can talk social worker, guidance counselors, whoever else is available at school sites. You all can also log into these accounts, just like you're monitoring my interactions and my emails, and kids log in. You see the kid is doing nothing all day, got F's all day in all the classes. Who else is helping us contact these kids instead of wondering why the teacher didn't fill out the log?
Let me break this down. Break this down real quick. Because guess what? There's no more standardized tests. There's no FSA. There's no exam. Right. So you ain't got nothing else to do.
And technically, for my reading class, it's gonna be hard pressed for them to do anything for me, 10th grade reading. So I need somebody else to help me connect to make sure that kid's doing well in their core classes. in that math, that's English, that social study, in that English class, that's going to give them credits. How are you all helping me? I have 140 kids, 140 that I email well into 11 o'clock at night because they're looking for my help. And y'all
wait. You working out the hours? Any overtime? Any overtime? No, because we're too concerned with logging and checking in and when your Zoom time is and when your office hours are and all this craziness. We're not sitting around twiddling our fingers.
I'm just saying, help.
And making Zoom videos and TikTok videos
and YouTube videos.
I'm just throwing shade about the video.
I'm just saying, when we say support, and I've been saying this for years, we throw around the word support and coaching and whatever it is you want to name it, but is it truly support, or is it just oversight? Is it just another word for micromanaging?
Wait a minute, let me look that word up.
Marlene Sokol, while we're waiting, Marlene Sokol says attendance seems to be taken weekly. Yes. Log on to your ESPY once a week. Well, for those students that don't have the accessibility to log on to a digital device, that's not happening. Then there are teachers telling me they made contact with 80%, but only 20% are doing the work. Facts. My child's school, this is my friend girl Ariel, my child's school homeroom teacher requires them to check in daily. How, Ariel? Is it mandated through ESPY? Do they do a phone call? What's happening? Let's be specific. What school? Sorry, Marlene, we've been going so long and we didn't check messages like we should have. I don't know what you're referencing. So
I'm
again,
reading the comments too, but I think Marlene, the point I was trying to make earlier when I was talking about attendance and attending to, like, asking that question, I'm saying district wide. What is the attendance rate for week 1? What's the district-wide attendance rate for week 1? What will it be for week 2? What will it be for week 3? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, us really trying to dig deep and make sure we're making connections with families. I think people are afraid to tell the truth right now and to say, like, we got like maybe 20 families we haven't been in contact with. Like, we've called and left messages and, you know, we're not getting anybody. Right? I'm not afraid to say that. Like, maybe it's like 10 or 15 for us that we have not found these 15 people. What are you doing? What are you doing?
You know, my next question is, we're collecting data, attendance data, depending upon wherever the kid, you touch them or they reached out to you virtually at some point, or maybe even a phone call. But you know what the issue with that is? I don't think ESPY and Ed Connect talks, you guys.
No.
So because if Ed, that's not listen.
The administrators are, so that's why they're asking you to turn in a spreadsheet. So we're asking teachers, and this, let me help too, Marlene. Teachers are asked to take attendance daily, or, you know, log their attendance over the week, so that we can then summarize that information and put it all together and say, okay, weekly, this is where we are. So that's the thing. Like, and we're going to put it into Ed Connect weekly. So we're adding up from every day. So that's why we're asking teachers to look at it daily. Because, okay, maybe I didn't talk to Edward on Tuesday, but I talked to Edward on Thursday. So when you summarize that, when the school, whoever, your DP clerk or whoever summarizes that over the week to put it in ESPY, they will see, like, okay, yes, we did talk to Edward this week.
Okay, yeah. In my school, it's sort of the same thing, where we're just looking at compiling it for the week. If has this child made contact at some point in time during the week, and then, you know, and that's pretty much it. It's that's how we're taking attendance. So the attendance is submitted on Friday. Because I remember at the beginning of the weekend, we had an email saying it should be first thing in the morning. I'm like, how? When you know, some kids, like some of my kids were actually doing their own schedules, and they were like, well, tell me what's going on with your schedule. Oh, look, I'm not getting up till 11 o'clock. So there's a lot of kids who will, it seems like they're not working on anything at all. And then by usually between 11 and 3, all of a sudden, now I'm like, oh, okay, you logged in for the first time for the day. Okay, so that's what it is. You have to be patient, because we really don't know what time these kids are going to be on.
And I will say that quite a few of my parents are still working, for the ones that I did make contact with. And, you know, their response is, I work during the day, so I have to wait till I get home. And unfortunately, they are already asleep. So I try to get up earlier enough in the morning, get them up to try to start them on it. But when I leave the house, there's nothing I can do in efforts to make sure that they're doing it. So I just have to wait till I get home and look at it then. But the cycle starts again. They're already asleep. So we just have to be mindful of that and just allow the kids to do the best that they can, because I don't think the majority of the parents don't want to assist their children or provide supports for them. I just think that at this point, it's impossible because their schedules are indifferent than their children. And they have jobs, they have secured jobs based upon their children's schedule, where they work in the daytime while their children are at school. And then at night, you know, maybe a little help, a little support. And if they don't understand how to do it, they revert them back to the teacher saying, go ask the teacher for some help, write a little note on the paper. They say clearly, we didn't get this. Can you help them with this again?
Right.
So again, it's just a matter of really, I just wish that maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me being a wishful thinker. I just want to be a part of the teachers groups that they're just saying that it all went extremely well. I want to know what they did differently than I did, besides trying to figure all of this out, because some people are trying to make it seem as though they've been experts at this pandemic teaching before it even happened.
Right. And I don't understand that. The only and like I said, the only, I wouldn't even say seamless thing. When I talk to my sister, her children live in an area where they go to a school in the area where they already had laptops, they already had tablets, they already had Chromebooks and stuff like that. So for them, they were literally taking a class online anyway. So for them, it was a seamless transition. But I'm just like what you said, I'm very curious about the fact that, well, where are these people who said that everything is so perfect? Because that means that all school year long, these kids have already been doing online stuff. They already had their own tablets. They already had their own life. So please invite us into those groups. We like to discuss it with you. And we want to compare notes and let you see that in these areas where we at, which is inner city, I don't know where y'all getting all this information from, where you believe that it's going to work, but I don't. Like I can tell you right now, most of my kids who checked in at EDSB did it on their phone. They did not do it on a tablet. They did not do it on a laptop, which is the reason why a lot of them are able to check in on EDSB, but they can't do any other work because they need keyboards for that. They need to be able to download documents and find stuff. They're like, look, this is the best I can do. I can show it to you on my phone. I'm in here. I'm good. Okay. So I need people to understand that there's a big, truly a large gap between, and just like the picture we had before, Bianca, the difference between reality versus equity versus equality. Yeah, there it is right there. There's a big difference. Reality
that is our district's staple
right
picture. Every year we see that same imagery, but for without a doubt, it does not exist for everyone. And again, let me put our disclaimer out there, because people seem to misconstrue the overall position that we come here to share our experience. Keyword, our experiences. April Cobb's experience, Dr. Edwards' experience, Miss Taylor's experience, Miss Thomas' experience. And then the experiences that are shared with us from our colleagues throughout the district. It's not a complete East Tampa thing. It's not a South County thing. It's not a West Tampa thing. The bottom line is there are certain populations of children, and primarily those are children of color. And it don't matter if they're Black, Hispanic, whatever it may be, children of color, and primarily the males, they are getting the short end of the stick in most cases in our district. And we're going to speak to it, because one thing for certain, two things for sure, if we don't speak to it, it will never be talked about.
No. Yeah. And you gotta ruffle some feathers. You gotta ruffle feathers in order to make things happen. I mean, like I said, change requires you to be uncomfortable. I mean, of course, it's gonna be very, very easy. And to say I've been doing something for 30 years, if you have not changed anything, you can sit there and be comfortable. But you need, when people speak about it, it's gonna make people irritated, which is good because I like Bob Marley, the late great Robert Nesta Marley. I always go back to him, which is where he always said the truth is an offense. People are offended by the truth, and so that's good because when the truth offends you, you got two ways of responding to it. You either gonna fix it, change your life and fix it, or you're gonna get mad. Which one you gonna do? That's the
And
whole
I
point. What
always
are you
say,
going to
Denise,
do?
my favorite is the Frederick Douglass. What? Without struggle, there is no progress. So
That's
we're gonna
right.
have to struggle together
Struggle.
through this
That's right.
thing in order to make progress. But I
Mhm.
refuse to be silent. There are, and I will speak on behalf of. I'm in several administrator groups, and I know that administrators are not sleeping. I know that administrators are at an epic level of stress. And I also know that administrators are fearful. I don't know why, but well, I do know why. But many, even in Hillsborough, are fearful of losing their jobs.
okay,
I'm
hold
not
on,
sure
Doctor.
why they're
See,
so afraid.
we're not gonna let you run by that one. Back up. I need you to speak to why you think, based on your experience and your opinion,
Right.
because you're entitled to one. Why do you think administrators are fearful of their jobs?
Right.
Well, we have a new superintendent who is coming in with a different level of accountability. They were used to a regime that was built around, hey, I just trust you guys to do a great job. I've been in Hillsborough for 20 years. I love Jeff Eakins. I mean, he and I worked together when he was the director of Title I. I've always been in Title I school. So, he's always like, hey, I see that y'all are trying and you're working hard and I'm here to support you. What do you need from me to help support you? And that's really how he led. Nothing, I'm not taking anything away from Jeff or, saying anything negative about our new superintendent, but he is leading in a very different way. And he is asking different questions than people have been asked before. So if you've been in a district and you have had your entire career here and now people are asking you questions that you've never had to answer before, it makes you a little anxious. Now, all of that is happening in the middle of a pandemic, right? So administrators are not sleeping. Administrators are not well. And administrators are not taking care of their families. They feel extremely guilty because they're working a ridiculous number of hours and they are not, their own children are suffering. Their own children are suffering greatly because they're trying to be there for all the other things that they have to do. So I just speak for administrators. I know sometimes from a teacher perspective, you feel like, gosh, they're coming down on me. They're coming down on me. And it's just because this is a filter down, right? And like they're being like,
but let's speak to that. As an administrator, where do you at some point interject and say that doesn't work for my students? That doesn't work. Right. So it's not that teachers, I think in most cases, are not in belief that administrators don't have their best interests at heart, but we have to look at what the actions that we see around us on a collective day-to-day basis, that they don't show us that they have taken a position for our school, for their staff, for the students we serve. And that's where it becomes, okay, I can't fool with you.
Right.
At what point do you go against it? Because again, I always say, for Black History Month, we want to holler Martin, we want to holler Tubman, we want to holler everybody that went against what was considered. There you go. But we don't take that same principality and put it in motion when it's time for the right now.
Yeah.
What happens to that?
Right. I agree with you. That was exactly my thoughts as you were talking, Dr. Edwards, because I get it. Administrators are under a ton of pressure to have learning continue at their schools. But on the other hand, it's the same way as we approach education as a teacher. Let's look at the human element. People are anxious and scared, and there's people dying around them, and we're trying to take care of our own families, and we have all of our babies that we have been with every day for the last who knows months. We have our kids ripped away from their security blanket. In some cases, teachers is all they know, so that weighs on us. At what point does an administrator put their foot down and say, you know what, my teacher's not doing that, Lalo?
Right.
Because they are working.
So I will say this. I will speak for myself. I can speak for myself. I am swimming against the grain. and I get beat up for it. People even on this stream have tried to beat me and my school up for it because I'm swimming against the grain. It's hard, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to stand up when the tide is coming at you, and people are saying, "Well, you should be doing this, and you should be doing this because everybody else is doing that," and you say, "Well, wait, why did anyone stop to ask why is everybody even doing that?" But it just seems like that's what everybody should do. So you got to do what everybody's saying to do. So it's already a stressful situation because we're in a pandemic. I'm gonna keep saying that because I think sometimes we forget. We're in a pandemic. So because we're in a pandemic, it's really hard at that moment to say, okay, this is the time where I'm going to stand up. Right. But and it takes someone who is not in fear. I'm different. I'm in charter world and I'm not in fear because I already step out all the time. But it is hard when you're stepping out against, and you're going to have to deal with the public scrutiny because you got the public, right? You got to deal with your supervisor scrutiny. You got to deal with everybody's scrutiny to back you up to say like, hey, because there are some teachers on y'all staff, even on your teams, who are like, what do you mean? That's blasphemy. How do you we're not going to give an assignment a day? So, as an administrator, you're trying to balance all those different constituents that you have to listen to and really value their opinions. So right now, they may not be able to do it.
Right.
Other times, yes, they should. They absolutely should. But in the middle of this situation, if they haven't stood up yet, I don't know that this is gonna make them stand up. I'm just being very transparent. For me, it's hard for me to even stand up and say I'm not doing what everybody else is doing because that's not gonna work either. None of us have the primer on this. Like there is no playbook that someone has written that has been successful doing what we're doing right now because we haven't had a global pandemic in the industrialized age. So at this point, we're all trying to figure it out. We took 200,000 students and sent them home and said we're gonna teach you from there. That has never happened before. We're one of the largest districts in the country, and we just did something completely unheard of. So I understand where y'all are coming from. They're not gonna stand up right now, though. I'm just gonna be honest with you, not right now.
Right.
So then again, I think at some point, and again, I've been on both sides. I've been in the classroom and out of the classroom, and I think at some point, then administrators need to evaluate how important their relationships with their teachers are. Because for me, if I'm at home, and again, I am a human, I am trying to manage all of this stuff, and you telling me I need to do this random log for you to look at, and you're not standing up for me, then it's going to be very hard to continue to build that trust.
Or just be a progressive teacher,
Right.
Yeah, it's just, then I'm just going to be I'm just going to be average. I'm just going to be mediocre.
I'm progressive, girl.
You know what? I'm going to devalue relationships, period. And so and you make very valid points because I can't even imagine, sitting in your shoes and having to manage all that. That's, I give kudos to you, and I understand it is easier to go with the tide than to swim against it. I understand all of that, but I think a lot of the frustration of those who are speaking their truth is just this. If we go along with the tide now, what's going to stop you from doing that in August?
Right.
Exactly.
And this is my next thing, Portia. It would be one thing if all principals for middle school, for elementary, and high school all received the same message and walked away not providing more restraints on the teacher during this time frame than other sites are. Because I know for a fact that there are some schools that have additional requirements than other schools have as it relates to their staff. Like, for instance, there are coaching. Let me ask you this: is your school having coaching sessions? Administrators are having coaching sessions with the teachers?
Yes.
Yeah.
What do y'all? How often do y'all meet?
Once a week.
Taylor?
From what I understand, I'm not coaching at my school, but from what I understand.
No. Hold on, babe. Hold on. I want you to be clear on what I asked you. Administrators are mandating that they have a coaching session with the teachers. How often are y'all doing that? Say that again.
I don't know what coaching sessions are with teachers. No. So then
my bad.
That's my first point.
I do have an administrator. So at my site, an administrator is in charge of each different department, and that administrator is the person who monitors EDB and give feedback and reach out to the teachers in that department. But actual coaching, in the true sense of coaching, no, that does not happen.
Okay, so there we go. See, and there we are right there. See, now feedback, check and connect, yes. But the verbiage that's being used is that they're going to be hosting coaching sessions once a week, given a designated time and day each week.
Do they know what coaching is, though?
Well, if it's not coming from my math coach, I don't know what the coaching session would be.
Right.
What would it be?
Again, this goes back to what structures you had in place before this happened. Like, you know, you asked me, will we have coaching sessions? Absolutely. We have coaching sessions all the time. It's been our practice all year long.
Do you host the coaching sessions, or do the coaches for that content host the coaching sessions?
Oh, no. The coaches host the coaching sessions.
That's the point I'm making. That's the point I'm making. But right now you got administrators that are being told that they have to identify a content that they're going to be over, or a department, and they're required to have coaching sessions with those teachers. I never had a coaching session from an administrator since Becky Smith left, and I'm just going to throw it out there. Since Rebecca Smith left Jennings Middle School, I had no coaching sessions with no administrator, offered no supports or nothing like that. And even David Lowry, he offered support. He will help. But anyway, no, it's not happening. No.
Who typed it?
Math coach?
I don't know who typed it.
Somebody type it loud.
It might just be feedback. It's just the feedback.
No, they stopped typing. B, what you doing?
No, that's what I'm telling her.
She said
yes.
So to be clear, I'm not even on here. It is the feedback. It is recommended that all of you guys have headphones when you guys are on live. And since there's 4 of you, see how the noise is going on? That's just what it is. It's recommended that you guys have headphones. And since there's 4 of you guys on here, there's feedback. So let me slide on out. Don't put that on me. Thank you.
See, that's what happened when you have a wonderful intellect that is very clear on the technology that happens. But hold on, I'm going to get mine. Let me grab mine.
I think mine in the car, so y'all stay.
I think
if we get on, maybe that'll help.
Okay, I have my headphones on.
See, it's Portia because it went away. Oh
no,
I still hear it.
It's mine. I'm gonna log out.
No, where you going?
Oh, okay. Y'all said don't log out.
No,
I'm just asking where you going.
So we were waiting on this one person, but she can't seem to get it together. The millennials.
That generation.
Go get your mama. Look, here we go. Go get your mama phone.
Maybe I have too many devices running.
Yeah, because I really want her to share her experience, as a, because again, we have to remember that for us old heads, let's just call it what we are. We old, y'all. We get there. Portia, you still young.
No.
Wrinkles.
You ain't reached 45, so you still young, honey. You just move, but you just navigate this world like you're an old head. You're not old. But for those of us, we just know how to figure it out. That's what it is. We gonna now. Please don't think that I'm gonna figure out and be quiet about it. No, that's not me. I am a Capricorn. I end the year and I bring it in.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do just that. I'm going to share how I feel about it and defend my feelings because they are mine. And I just wish that as educators throughout the district, yes, there are great things happening. There are positive things happening, but please don't placate this situation with this pandemic teaching and this pandemic learning that our students are experiencing families to where we are giving off a false pretense that it's all well in the district. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah. This is harder than actually going to the schools.
I would have rather had my classroom. That's like I was saying before.
And I fuss and I carry on with the kids, but I would much rather teach the kids, because again, I feel like that is more impactful. Now, if the kids were learning like this all year, then that's a different thing.
Right.
But this is a paradigm shift that we have moved to in 2 weeks, and in the middle of a pandemic. and it's stressful. It is difficult. We were already concerned about our kids' well-being mentally and our teachers' well-being mentally, and this is just taking another blow. And the teachers and the kids are not okay, and even our parents, they're not okay. And I will speak as myself as a parent and teacher. I am losing my mind with elementary education with my 11-year-old, and I do this. So I cannot imagine a parent who has never had to deal with this, and kids who has never had to learn this way, be expected to do this all of a suddenly, and we say that this is okay, everything went well. You know what I'm saying?
That's people that don't live in the real world. Yeah, they don't live in the real world, and it's like there's no way you can say that this is normal. If you have never ever been home before for school, you know the time. Like them kids who got perfect attendance, they losing their mind right now because they're accustomed to being in school. The other kids, on the other end of the spectrum, is the kids that all they do is wander the halls. You know, them is the kids that they stay in the hallway 24/7. What those kids doing right now? Because their whole job is to go and visit everybody else. I'm not gonna be in my regular class. I'm walking up and down the school. They probably driving their parents crazy, or they just in the street for all we know, because they don't know how to sit still in a classroom. They all over the place. That's what I'm concerned about. And I'm just also concerned about the fact that, like, I don't know if y'all saw the video with the bus driver who was making his plea to tell people stop, being coughing and doing all this stuff. He passed away. He died. And the people were coughing on him on the bus. Yeah, and it was so heartbreaking. It's been playing on the news all day, and he was telling people, he said, "Why are you letting us still drive the buses? When you packing a bus full of people get sick." And so, and that's the same concept we have here in the district, talking about put all the food, or ride around and take. I mean, look, we gotta use common sense. We gotta learn to just use that common sense, because right now this is such a traumatic experience for the kids. That they don't know how to express themselves and explain, like I don't understand why this is happening, and it's hard to tell them.
I mean, and one of the things, and I will say this, and I'll say these 3 different things. First, to any of the parents that are watching, just take a breath. It'll be okay, and do what you can. And to my fellow teachers, man, do what you can for your kids first and foremost. Those other mandates and those requests and all of this other bling bling teaching and all the stuff you ain't been doing, don't start it now. Just check in on your kids and see how those kids and families are doing. And to those administrators or whoever sneaking and watching, check in with your teachers. Check in with the teachers. Check in and make sure your teachers are okay, and truly support them. And support is not, again, filling out a Microsoft Office form. Support is, how can I help
with
you?
no SB number?
Exactly. How can, if you have kids that you need me to contact, help me. Help me. And I think if we're gonna all come out of this truly together and really moving forward as a district, the relationships, true, genuine relationships, top to bottom, has to be formed. And this will show exactly your intentions right now. This will show how well we can work together when we're not all sitting in the PLC and the media center.
Right. Exactly.
Remember,
yes, you said that right.
Truly be for each other, because we need each other right now. We need to take care of each other so we all don't get sick.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
So, hold on and say that again. For some reason, the pretense, people are thinking that we can't get sick. It feels that way. Like the teacher can't get sick, the principal can't get sick. We've seen or heard of principals dying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because we don't know how to cure it yet. We don't know. We know that we know a lot of the symptoms. We know a lot of the the causes. We understand how it works, how it's quick though. You know, it goes in and comes back out, but I mean, you go through the suffering. But at the same time, you know, no one has mastered exactly how to kill it, how to clean the environment. Every time you turn around, somebody say it lasts this many hours on clothing, this many hours on steel and metal, this many hours on a flat surface. I mean, either way, social distancing, and Bianca got that slide. Social distancing is very important for us to stay. Listen, I'm a hugger. I love people. I gotta touch everything, but I also like to live. That's what I like to do. So I think I'm gonna have to stay inside. Thank you for the tip. There you go, right there. The power of social distancing. If you stay away from people, and I'm gonna repost it on my page. Stay away from people. You'll be amazed at how you're gonna keep it. Yes, you're a little depressed because, well, I can't talk, be around this person. But at the same time, listen, let's let this go through, cycle through, so we can all be well together. Let's do that.
If we truly want to help our families, and if we truly want to help our families, give them something useful. Again, families that are struggling really don't need me calling to see why they didn't do my little vocabulary assignment.
No.
Help me figure out what I'm gonna do with an anxious 11-year-old boy who want to go outside and play with his friends. What can I do with him outside of Fortnite?
Right.
I mean, help me.
And Roblox.
Hey, Roblox. And
Thank
down
you.
passes. That'll take
That's
$10 a bit. Help me. Figure out, I mean, truly help, and then support the teachers. Truly, I have been asking, what is support in Hillsborough County for the past, I don't know how many years, because we throw around that word support. What do you mean?
You're going to get in trouble. You're going to get in trouble. Don't say that. You're going to get in trouble.
I'm already
been... let you slide out, let you talk. Church finger this out so you can talk.
I'm probably already been in trouble. I have been asking, what is coaching? What is support? What are you talking about? Is coaching me telling you what I'm doing? Is coaching you walking along with me? Because it should be you walking with me, not you just walking in my door looking at me. When will you?
I need to lubricate.
When will you trust me as an educator?
Wait. Hold on. Say it again.
When will you trust me as an educator? I am an educator myself that pride myself on relationships with kids and families. I will say I have the majority of my kids logging into ESB, reaching out if they can't get help. And they also reach out to me for help with other classes because they don't have the relationship with their teacher.
Right.
So
what? Wait,
if they don't have the relationship with that other teacher, they will ask me for help on how do I get on Common Lit because I'm scared to ask the other teacher.
Them is the ones, the same ones that like to come to your class because they can't think in other teacher classroom. Them the ones that pop up in your inbox too. I hope people understand. They pop up in your inbox talking about how you doing. They do. Just want to holler.
Yeah, I do. They just want to holler. How you doing? Where's your class? And they keep coming and sit down. Those the same ones that email me, and I'm not going to ignore that kid.
No.
And I'm worried about my kid. And because for me personally, I am sad for my seniors. Yes, they're all going to graduate. That's great. But I spent all year teaching them hard work pays off.
Yes.
And they worked and worked and worked. And many of them got their concordance scores to be told it doesn't matter. Now, that is great. They're all going to get diplomas because I don't think it should come down to a test. However, it's important to celebrate those that achieve it. And I can't with my kids. I can't hug my kids. I can't share the tears with my kids. And that's heartbreaking for me.
Yes.
That weighs on me and my kids. I mean, so I just think administrators, again, those of you watching or that's going to share the video or watch later, listen to what I'm saying. Check in on your teachers, like genuinely check in on them and ask how you can help them as opposed to checking the boxes. You know what I'm saying? There is a place for accountability, but there also needs to be a place for the human factor. We have got to pay attention to our social, our emotional health of our teachers.
Correct. Bottom line is, come up off the clipboard. Come up off the clipboard.
Stop it. So that's my soapbox. And I just think, hopefully, and my prayer is we come together as a community. But this is threatening if we get ready to get back to the clipboard and to the checklist.
Right.
So,
and welcome. Good evening. We have another guest speaker this evening. Hi, Sylvia.
Hey.
Hey,
Can you
talk to
hear
us
me?
about your experience this week with being virtual school.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Absolutely.
You know you're gonna
Oh,
get
okay.
cut later. Let me just openly put that disclaimer out there, millennial. And
Why would
she's
you
a
do
true
that?
millennial. She's in her 20s. I don't think that people in their 30s and older love you, B, but y'all ain't millennials no more. Y'all, once you hit
Right.
30 plus, you ain't no millennial no
You
more.
old. You old. Yes, exactly.
Well, why would you say that on this live broadcast?
She in her 20s and she's gonna get a whooping when she gets off of here because she's late.
Oh,
And that's my goddaughter. She is a now working from home individual, and she's also a mom that's helping her elementary child.
Right.
Let's talk about that. What you been experiencing, girl?
so for one, I was on earlier, and I heard where it is a lot of work for those elementary kids, way more work than they're doing at home. I mean, they're actually doing at the schoolhouse. They're bringing home more work. But I wanted to say that it has been a challenge, and I wanted to talk as it pertains to the we are stating that we want to hurry up and ship our kids off and send the kids back to the schools, but we have to understand that the kids are not used to, being inside of, especially talking about doing work virtual and going through different screens and different sites. And my child, he's in kindergarten. He like, well, mom, I got to do SB, I got to go into this. It's overwhelming, and he's like, I want to take a break. And I'm like, we have to give these kids that because it's not fair to elementary that they were it wasn't their fault that this happened. And so for me, it's been kind of like, I work a full-time job. I work 10 hours a day, and I play teacher to the kids because we can't just allow them to go out just because of what's going on. So
Right.
it's been, but it's been a lot. But I mean, we have to stay positive and try to see how we kind of work together to take this. I'm going to speak for elementary, but all the kids are suffering, but elementary because that's what I have in my household. To see other ways that we can kind of sort of make it easier for these kids because they're not doing them thick packets and all of this stuff through virtual. They're not doing that, and so
Yeah.
I don't know. Talk on
that
it.
that is a good way to look at it. I don't know.
Right.
We don't either.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
And that's what
it's
we're
just
looking
been
for,
a
your
lot.
input.
That I would say a lot with elementary and trying to work and virtual learning and go back and forth the screens, and then my baby coming, he like, well, mommy, it's not working no more. The ed wasn't, and I'm just like, oh gosh, I don't know what to do now because I don't work ESB. I don't know how to work ESB.
Yeah.
So
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think it would have
it's
been
been a lot.
beneficial for parents to receive a training like this week, all the platforms that the parents that were going to be exposed to? Do you think it would have been beneficial for them to receive a tutorial training to kind of learn about how to maneuver all these things, that they could have sent a video clip that every child in Hillsborough County that has every parent that has an elementary kid, they would have been sent some kind of no more than 5-minute video, no more than 5 minutes to say, this is how you use ETSB. This is how you get to MHH. This is how you use what is called Explore Learning. This is how you use, because at this point, you all are figuring out as you go. Do you think that would have been helpful?
I most definitely think that would have been helpful. Some type of guide, some type of direction before it just kind of sort of went out because it's not fair to those parents before or know nothing about, a ESB or anything like that. And so now, like my godmom said, we are now trying to figure out. I'm thankful that my teacher, so she assists a lot. But if she wasn't a teacher, I honestly, not even as a millennial, but I just honestly wouldn't know how to
Right.
navigate through, I wouldn't know personally, and I'm sure I'm not the only parent that doesn't know how to do it either. So I most definitely think that some type of, virtual learning for us would be beneficial. Something that we could have said, oh, okay, these are steps. Like when they sent us home, they gave us steps as to how we would log in, what would make it successful for us to log in every day so that we're not late. Because some of us never worked from home before. Myself, I've never worked from home before. So they sent us a guide showing how we would log in each day that way successful and easy for us. So parents that said, okay, if you go through this, or, like you said, a little small training or a little small virtual walkthrough of how we would navigate the systems, I think that would have made it easier for some parents.
Right.
Then the kids hungry every 5 minutes. They got to do virtual work all day long.
Yeah.
And so I think that just for everybody took time to work, we have to work together.
I'll be hungry
Others,
in 5 minutes
the
too.
kids and and so they eat all the quarantine snacks. And they be stressed. That's why they eat all the snacks. The kids be stressed.
And I am wondering if going forward, what is it something we need to look at is making this something that the kids do ongoing throughout the year. So, and I say that, for example, if my kid has been asked to go to whatever that sign HHHSN, whatever that is, has he done this before now? Because he's looking at me like we looking at each other. He's never seen this before. However, it's been on Clever, and he has never gotten anything to say work on this at home. So I think going forward to acclimate our kids and even our parents to these programs, let's say going into the next school year, can we make those programs a little bit more prominent so parents are more aware of it before something major happens? And again, I'm still concerned with why elementary is so new to ESB. ESB is not a new program.
Right.
ESB is about to go away.
When I had
I think the grading system is different.
Even though they still can one thing about technology like that or systems like that, they can cater it to where it fits the needs of elementary, middle school, and high school. So that's no excuse. The thing about it is if they were able to mandate that they move into utilizing this platform, I mean the platform was they should have been using it from the beginning. That's the point that I think Portia is making.
Yeah.
Or it shouldn't have been something that teachers were introduced and now they're trying to take all the direction from their leadership. They've not been formed. Like these little videos that we're doing is so indifferent than if you actually sit in a training. I am a auditory, kinesthetic. I have to do all of it. You just can't show me no PowerPoint and a video and that's going to be enough for me. No, I need more.
I tune out real fast.
And in the efforts of trying to problem solve going forward, so let's come up with some solutions for the district again. While we have a lot of these conference nights, these back to school nights, host events where parents
book bag drives,
where they can learn the science online program. Because outside of iReady, we didn't know all of this exists, although they are all in Clever. But again, my kid again has access to technology and we looking at each other on the science program. He has never seen this before. So maybe elementary schools can also help parents understand that we have all of these resources and all in this one platform of Clever, and this is what it's for. And so let's walk them through it. This is what this for. This is here. This is how you can access it, instead of putting it in a link at the end of the standard and the objective and then the lesson. You get what I'm saying? So maybe this should be something that we need to make more prominent ongoing, especially at the elementary level, because these kids don't even know, again, they know iReady and they know Common Lit.
Yes.
They don't know that little Pearson, whatever that little math program is, that Excel read or whatever this science program is. They don't know how to do it, and parents don't know why they are there. And so maybe, again, as we look forward into the next school year, let's make those more prominent. I mean, and ESB is a great system for communication. Let's help elementary teachers and parents figure out we can use this, as opposed to them little logs that come home in the book bag.
They get lost.
Yeah.
Right.
Teacher for the Culture says, we believe that it's unreasonable that students should have the same level of learning and work right now. E-learning is not the same as the traditional classroom setting.
Correct.
This should be enrichment and not a mandatory requirement. This is creating trauma in households in an already stressful situation.
Absolutely.
Very much so. Very much so.
Because you're like I said, a lot we dealing with parents who are concerned about eating. Like I told you 2 weeks ago when I sent out the poll to my homeroom class talking about y'all have internet access. Ladies say we trying to eat over here. We trying to live. That's our concern. We don't care about no internet. We don't care about a hotspot. We try to eat. That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
And so we need to keep all that into consideration for sure. That's definitely one thing. So. How y'all doing? How long we been on? I got one more thing to throw out there. What y'all governor doing? He's docking ships in the port. In the port. Y'all talk about that real quick. No, y'all ain't here to
I don't
yes. Okay, you don't want to talk about it? Okay, we're gonna skip over that. We're gonna let the people do some research and come back.
We're gonna stay in our level of expertise. We jumping out our whole lane because my opinion about that would just
okay.
He in government. We don't know what to tell him. Government.
Okay. All I gotta say, then the last thing I gotta say right here is listen. If you haven't done all your evaluations on your teachers, I think that this year's evaluations should be null and void because we went home in the middle of a pandemic. Half of some of us got our formal, some of us didn't. So to me, they really should be a wash. That's how I feel about that.
I thought they were gonna do away with those this year.
I needed it in writing though. I need it right.
So we
have the live. Also, I won't be progressing then.
That's correct. Those who on the live who wait until later to show it to the supervisors, just understand something real quick. If all the staff ain't have their formal, then none of the staff should have their formal. We all should be exemplary this year, especially since you're expecting us to go on a whole nother platform and teach children. If that ain't exemplary as a teacher, I don't know what is.
Exactly. We superstars right there.
Say that. So I will, we get ready to wrap up. We've been running these. Dr. Edwards, what are you doing? Watch how she look up.
Her face. She like that thing right in the camera like that. What?
Let me tell you what happened. Wait, what's your goddaughter's name?
Sylvia.
She wasn't even paying attention.
Sylvia was giving such good information. I pulled out my laptop and started altering my staff meeting PowerPoint of some of the things that she was saying. I'm like, oh, she said that.
See, here we go. Okay, I was gonna be good. I ain't gonna be good no more. So if we take the time to talk to the troublemakers that in the end have nothing more, y'all label us troublemakers. Well, me anyway, I don't care. If you take the time to listen to what we have to say, especially when in all situations it has been at the best interest of the children, maybe we'll get some damn well.
Yeah.
Troublemaker, you said something out loud. Did you?
People have received something. That part.
Yeah.
We gotta do something different.
Yeah.
We gotta do something different. We gotta have behaviors and attitudes like that of Martin in situations when it comes to education.
Yeah.
We gotta have attitude and indifference of opinions when what's his name is Malcolm X, by any means necessary. Don't speak of these people just during Black History Month, but when we're not willing to take on the exact mentality in order to change the narrative when we are in a specific situation. Right now, pandemic, never seen it. Praise God, we all gonna live through it. But the bottom line is it exposed so much in our district that if they try to go back to the same way of doing things, my God, they think he didn't take they think he exposed it this time. They think the next time it may not be as easy than this.
Yeah.
It may not be. They better do something different. You cannot keep harming the innocent and think that it's going to go unnoticed.
You're going to get away with it. You sure can. It's not going to happen like that.
No.
So
but that's all I got to say, guys. Y'all add y'all last tidbits, but yeah, we got to do something different.
Exactly.
We got to do something different. Stop waiting to Black History Month to claim, you know, that you want to identify those and applaud those attributes those individuals had. Doggone it, we need to be doing that daily. Speak.
Thank you.
Look, what Pastor Pickens say? Speak power to truth.
Speak
Not
truth
now.
to power.
Speak the power. Speak it.
Yeah.
It's
Portia,
the truth. We got to do something different.
Go ahead, Portia. Which one to conclude with?
Nothing.
Any concluding thoughts? Dr. Edwards, any concluding thoughts for the evening?
I just think that we had a eye-opening week one. We had an eye-opening week one, and we've seen the cavernous divide that's between haves and have-nots in education. And I hope that we do not forget that once COVID-19 has passed, that we do not go back to business as usual. I am a disruptor. I know I was created to be a disruptor. I want to disrupt this pattern of what has happened that has led to things being where they are right now. And let's go in a different direction when we leave this moment.
That's right.
That's
Sylvia.
good.
I concur.
Yes.
I would just say, let's continue as parents and teachers and students to, continue to try to keep a positive attitude even with everything that's going on, so that we can finish out this year strong. And then, like everyone else said, let's definitely not go back to what was being done before, but come up with different ways. And let's just kind of sort of prepare, for anything that could possibly happen. Let's just plan ahead, because without planning, we plan to fail.
Right. Excellent. And that's all I really have too. I'm going to conclude by saying I'd like to thank our wonderful host with the mostest, Bianca Goolsby, of Teaching from the Culture. Give her a round as usual, always on time with the legs and everything like that. And I can thank you. My name is Denise Thomas Ford. I am here for Teaching with the Culture and Diversity and Equity in Education. I'm so happy that we still can see each other at another week on this side of the earth. Let's just keep praying and listen to each other in prayer. April ain't last coming.
That's all I got. I just know today is Friday, and maybe we can get some going out music. It's Friday. It's Saturday, Sunday.
It's Saturday, Sunday, Monday. What?
Here it comes.
All right, here it come now. All right, I
I'm ready.
Messages.
I'm ready.
We finally here, right?
Well, yes, we here, Mufasa.
It's Saturday, Sunday. What?